The processor is the brain of the computer which processes instructions using the fetch, decode, execute cycle. It is attached to the motherboard, which is how it communicates with other components, via the motherboard. The motherboard holds together many of the components of a computer. It allows these components to receive power and also to communicate with each other. BIOS, Basic Input-Output System, is a non-volatile firmware which is stored on a chip, which is part of the motherboard. It runs a set of instructions which load the operating system and allows software and hardware to interact with each other. Also, it communicates with other components via the motherboard. The power supply gives power to an electric device. The computer requires DC direct current, and therefore the power supply converts the current from AC, alternating current, to DC. The fan and heatsink are devices which keeps crucial components such as the processor cool and prevent them from overheating. It allows heat to dissipate throughout the computer. However, the heatsink itself can sometimes overheat, which is why a fan is used. SATA, Serial Advanced Technology Attachment, is an interface for connecting hard drives to a computer motherboard. It also directs the flow of data. Enhanced Integrated Device Electronics is an interface between the computer and mass storage. It allows you to access a larger hard disk. Master and slave is a communication model in which one device, the master, controls one or more devices, slaves. The direction of control is always from the master to the slaves, once the relationship has been established. A USB port is a cable connection interface for computers. It allows USB devices to be connected to each other, which allows data to be transferred. A serial port is a serial communications interface where information transfers in and out one bit at a time. RAM stands for Random Access Memory. It stores data and code that is in use. It also allows data to be read or written at the same time. A graphics card is a printed out circuit board that controls the images that go to display screen. The graphics card is also connected to the motherboard.
A monitor is an output device that displays information in the form of an image. The coaxial cable is used as a transmitter for radio frequency signals. The optical cable is mostly used for audio equipment. It carries a digital audio stream to components like CD and DVD players. A USB is a portable storage device. The storage capacity for a USB is up to 1 terabyte. The USB 3.0 has a transfer rate up to 625 megabytes. An SD card is a type of memory card that is used in portable devices. An SD card has a minimum transfer speed of 4 megabytes. The storage capacity of an SD card is up to 2 terabytes. A portable hard drive is a portable storage device that connects to computers through a USB connection. If the USB has a port of 3.0, then the maximum transfer rate is 120 megabytes. The maximum storage capacity of the largest portable hard drive is 16 terabytes. A fixed hard drive is an electromagnetic storage device. The fixed hard drive uses magnetic storage to retrieve and store digital information. As of 2010, the typical transfer rate for a fixed hard drive is up to 1,030 megabits. A 1 terabyte drive has a storage capacity of 1,000 gigabytes. The command line interface allows you to interact with the computer. The GUI allows you to interact with electronic devices through graphic icons.
Machine management, Windows. The machine management for Windows is on a control panel. This allows you to control things like the sensitivity of the mouse and where things go. Linux is the operating system. It controls access to the system devices and all input and output between processors and devices. Security. Windows has an administrative user. This person can make changes to the computer. There are also small users who are able to perform small tasks. If on another user, you would need the administrator's password in order to change anything else. Linux. In order to download something or make changes, you have to enter the administrator's password. As a result, it is more difficult for harmful programs to gain access to your computer. Finally, To make your computer more secure, you can also change the codes. File management. Windows. The file system isn't case sensitive. You cannot delete or modify open files. Also, Windows uses backslashes with files. Linux. The file system is case sensitive, meaning it treats uppercase letters and lowercase letters as different characters. You are able to delete or modify files while they are open.
For Windows, the ability to customize, you are able to change the background colour scheme and fonts for your Windows desktop. For Linux, you are able to rewrite your code, meaning you can customize your Linux desktop further, meaning each desktop can be different. For supporting connectivity of portable media, for Windows, Windows supports connectivity for different media such as USB drive, CD and DVD. For Linux, you are able to download a software kit to improve its connectivity, as Linux doesn't have a wide range of support for connectivity. For reliability, Windows isn't very reliable because it is always crashing and needs to be restarted. For Linux, it is very reliable as it is known to run for months without needing to be restarted. This makes Linux a lot more reliable than Windows because it rarely crashes. For ease of use, because Windows is more used than Linux, more people know how to use it and it is fairly easy to use. For Linux, to alter things on Linux it is very difficult if you don't know the program language. But the new version of Linux has made the software easier to use, therefore Windows is overall easier. For cost, Windows costs around £100 and you also have to pay for other softwares you want on Windows. So Windows isn't as good as Linux for price because you don't have to pay for Linux. Linux is free to download and there are software downloads that are free, so Linux is better price because you don't have to pay. For user support, Windows has a help section and websites where you can find information about the website. Also, Windows has books for every version of Windows. Linux only has books available for user support. Therefore, Windows offers more user support. Strengths. Windows is good for games because it supports special gaming hardware. Windows is also fairly easy to use for people that could use the old version of Windows, so it means they don't have to learn how to use a completely new software. The next strength of Windows is that it is compatible with MS-driven websites. A strength for Linux is that it is free, so the customers aren't losing any money if they don't like Linux. Another advantage is it is less likely to develop viruses than Windows. The next strength of Linux is they have lower system requirements than Windows do. A weakness of Windows is they have a poor security, so it is more likely to be hijacked. Another problem is that they get viruses easy. The next weakness with Windows is they have a high require of resources that will cost their customers a lot. The final weakness is that they have a high total cost to own it. For Linux, the first weakness is that there are no standard editions, so it is harder to set a new device up with Linux. Another weakness is it is harder to use than Windows. Another disadvantage is the programs you use in Windows won't always run in Linux, and if they do, the programs won't work as well in Linux.
Virus protection. This software can protect your computer from malware. It can be used to prevent, detect and remove worms and trojans. A benefit of virus protection is that it allows your computer to be safe and you do not have to worry about malware infecting your computer. Firewall. You should use a firewall to protect your network from unauthorized access. A benefit of firewall is that it further protects your network by preventing outside attacks. Removal of cookies. You would remove cookies to solve any problems happening in your browser or websites. For example, if your browser is running slow, removing the cookies would speed it up. The benefit of removing cookies is that it can speed your browser up and also free up hard disk space. Defragmentation. You would use defragmentation to make files smaller. It does this by rearranging the layout of files on the hard disk. A benefit of this is that it allows the file sizes to be smaller, which means that the files take up less room and it allows you to access files more quickly.